college students who have been a fertile supply of humorous quips, often at his expense. John often wonders where kids come up with what they say. In his speech titled, "Kids Say the Darndest Things," John gives us his perspective on childhood candor and how it translates into adult behavior. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Toastmaster, John Schneyer.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. I remember watching a television program way back in the 1960s. Art Linkletter was the host of this show, and he would interview kids who would come out with such pearls of both entertaining and often embarrassing information on national TV that would make my week. With a simple, "What did your parents tell you not to say today?" That's all it took, and the floodgates would open. "My mom told me not to tell you that my Uncle Bobby is in jail." "My dad wants to make sure I don't tell you that he drinks a lot. He says it's for his nerves." And Mom yells at him a lot. "My older sister told me to make sure I don't say anything about her boyfriend staying over when Mom and Dad went away for the weekend." The simplicity of Art Linkletter's questions remind me a lot of our own Toastmasters table topics. For anyone who's gotten a little nervous having to give a table topic speech, consider some of these responses from 2 to 10-year-olds on national TV to his questions. Who do you think is the most important person in the world today? George Washington. Oh, George Washington. He's married, isn't he? Yes, sir. And what's his wife's name? Miss America. And tell me, who's the boss in your family? Your mom or your dad? After a little bit of thinking, the response comes back, "They both are." Now, Art laughed at this. He says to the little boy, "Oh, you're a little diplomat, aren't you?" "No, sir, I'm Catholic Baptist." And one of my favorites, young boy was asked, "If you could be anybody from a storybook, who would you be?" "I'd be Papa Bear, because then I could eat honey, and Goldilocks would be sleeping in my bed." You see, you never know what a little kid is going to say or do. I found this out myself with my son Justin when he was very little. My parents stayed at my house with my kids while I went away on a cruise for a week. When I came back, my kids told me all the fun things they did with Grandma and Grandpa. And then they compared them to other babysitters we'd used in the past. We'd used 2 sitters who were both named Jen. So my mom asks my kids, "Well, how do you tell the difference between the 2 Jens?" Justin says, "Well, Grandma, there's nice Jen, and there's fat Jen. You know, just like you, Grandma." I am stunned and so embarrassed. But my mother took it in stride. She knew Justin wasn't trying to insult her. He was just telling it like it is. When kids speak and innocent, they're being frank, and they're telling us what they know. Do you think we ever lose being a little kid? I hope not. I mean, I refuse to. I think if you can't have a little fun every day, you better find something else to do. Our kids learn from us. And they do say the darndest things. But what about adults? Joe Theismann, former NFL quarterback and a TV commentator, once said during a game, "Genius is not appropriate to football." Genius is a word to describe a guy like Norman Einstein. Norman? I heard this. I didn't know Albert had a brother named Norman. But these things are not reserved for athletes. Consider this one. I have opinions. I have strong opinions. But sometimes I don't agree with them. Those pearls came out of the mouths of former President George Bush. Now, Brooke Shields, one of our actors that a lot of people know us, tells us that smoking kills. And if you're killed, you lose an important part of your life. Okay, Brooke. My favorite is, if we don't succeed, we risk failure. That comes to us from former Vice President and world champion speller, Dan Quayle. Me, I prefer to listen to the kids. At least there's a possibility they may learn as they grow. For us as adults, there's a little less hope. Our kids do learn from us. Do we learn anything from them? I think there's a great lesson in the answer a little girl gave Art Linkletter to his question: if you became president of the United States, what would you do? Her answer is as appropriate today as it was over 40 years ago. She said emphatically, "I would keep my mouth shut."